video.
Great.
All right, can everybody see my slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Great. Good. Well, let me thank you all for joining us. It's great to see some familiar faces and everything. So just to set a little bit of context, you know, many of you were in Singapore, although it looks like we have some new faces as well. And out of the conference or the workshop, more than 50% of the cohort said they would like to have some support on building and maintaining mentor networks. And so that's the purpose of this webinar series, is to help you do that. And at Miller Center, we really understand how and believe that having a strong mentor network is strategically important. In fact, we actually see our mentor network as being a critical success factor. We sometimes internally we call it our secret sauce, is to have these amazing mentors, because it really not only supports our entrepreneurs, it is able for us to scale and be able to support many more social entrepreneurs than we could individually. And actually, if you ask our mentor or our social entrepreneurs, like way over 80% of them will say that the first thing out of their mouth in terms of what made the program important to them and successful to them, they'll say it was mentors. And if it's not the first thing, 100% will have that as the second thing. So like I said, thank you for seeing the value of building and maintaining mentor networks. And we're looking forward to, Jeff and I are looking forward to working with you over the next about 7-8 months on this. So I think the next slide, Jeff, was
Yep, just basic housekeeping stuff around the webinar. This is stuff you all probably already know, but just to make sure things run smoothly and you can see and the sound is smooth. Just make sure when you're not speaking that you put your microphone on mute, because often a lot of noise comes through if it's not muted, but then don't forget to unmute when it's time to speak. You can select the gallery view in the top right hand corner if you want to see everybody's faces on the call. And then you can feel free to type in questions in the chat function as we're going through the slides as well. Pamela, if you could monitor the chat while the slides are going, because I can't actually see what's coming through.
Yep.
And then just a reminder that this call is being recorded. All right, so real quick, we're going to give a chance for everyone to do a brief introduction. And really this is, I think there's quite a few of you, so we want to keep it relatively short and just have you introduce your name, the name of the organization that you are running or part of, the location or country that you're operating in, and then just one thing that you hope to get from this webinar series on mentoring and mentor networks.
Melanie, you're first on my list of people that are, so why don't you get us started?
Okay, great. So my name is Melanie, and I am one of the director of venture support at Impact Hub in Cambodia. I am the one who are working very closely with all the startups on designing programs and actually managing our mentoring pool. We started this kind of mentoring pool for the past year, learning a lot from it, trying to find the best way to engage with them, to attract the best people, and to also like make the participants of our program and our startups to really like get the most out of it. So I would say like what I hope to get from this webinar is really understanding about how to manage the relationship, how also to kind of, when is the right time to take a step back, because I feel now I am still very much involved in this relationship with a mentor. And yeah, like just learning from experience from people who are used to manage some mentoring pool to see what models that will fit with our organization. And I think also one thing to emphasize on is like, so we have programs, and then when they finish the program, we have built like an alumni network where all the program participants can tap in like resources. And one of the resources that we offer to our alumni is our mentoring pool. So also, like, for now, it's kind of all of this is free and there's no revenue model behind all of this. So maybe also thinking about how can we be more sustainable in managing this mentoring pool. So
Great, thank you.
And
And your colleague?
My name is Abby. It's nice to meet everyone. I'm the Program and Impact Manager at Impact Hub Phnom Penh. So I work with Melanie a lot on our programs and more on the logistics side of the mentoring pool. So as Melanie said, there's a big difference between how we work with mentors ongoing for our entrepreneurs and then within the kind of shorter cohorts on programs. So figuring out the best way of engaging mentors and sorting out all the logistics so it runs very smoothly in both of those cases.
Terrific.
Great.
Thank you.
Will, do you want to introduce yourself? Yeah, you're next on my screen, so I'm just kind of going down.
Sure. Yeah, so Will Scockham is here from Second Muse. We're part of the team managing frontier incubators for DFAT. I'm based in Australia, but often floating around Asia and the Pacific. In terms of what I'd like to get from this webinar series, look, I'd be really interested to understand how mentors can be supported to mentor well. It's one of the things that we struggle with in our programming, separate to Frontier Incubators, is getting experts in particular fields to actually engage with their mentees well. They might have a lot of technical knowledge and a lot of experience, but actually engaging with someone well is a different skill set. It's a particular skill set. So it'd be great to see that.
Great, thank you.
Great, thanks, Will. Sorry, that's me.
You may?
Yes.
Yes.
So my name is Guillaume Catella. I'm based at the SCA Impact, which is a temporary name, but hopefully soon we'll have the final. And we're based in Indonesia, in Singapore. And the goal for me would be to building up on what we discussed last time in Singapore, how to increase the perception of value, how to ensure the commitment of participants in the program when running a remote program. We had very good discussions last time, and one of the key was to ensure a great mentoring program. So that's what I would like to get the most. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Ada.
Hi, let's see, I'm Ada from One to Watch Myanmar. So we're located in Myanmar, but we also have operations in Nepal. One thing I'd like to get out of this is, I guess it's about sourcing and selecting mentors, but also how to continue engaging with them and giving them the support they need so that they don't kind of drift away from the program after a couple of months. So just keeping them engaged, I guess, yeah. And also, yeah, how to gather feedback from them. And yeah, monitor the mentee-mentor relationship to see how it's going without inserting ourselves too much in there. Yeah.
Oops.
Got it, yes. Okay, great. Julie? You're on mute? Oh, there you are. We're hearing you now.
I'm now based in Bangkok, and one thing that I hope to get from this series that I will be like taking care of the mentoring part of the program that we're gonna launch. And I think this is gonna be the first full program that we are gonna launch. So I want to also like learn from the best practices, like how to design the overall program, mentoring program. And we planned to introduce coaching system as well. So it's like now we are designing how to manage the whole relationship between team, coaches, and also mentors, how to engage them along the process and find the incentive for all parties. Yeah.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you. Greg?
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm from Exchange. We're in the Philippines, so I'm a director there. I work with Rico and Erica. We've actually spoken with Andrew, and I know Jeff, we've traded some emails before. So Exchange is industry agnostic, and so we've had to engage mentors, from different industries, but also different subject matters, all on an ad hoc basis. So we want to explore how we could, make that more institutionalized, I guess, and like the others, how to incentivize and how to prep not just the mentor side, but also the mentee side, and make sure they're in a position to, that they're teachable and they're open to learning and to positive, feedback and all those things. So to make the most of the mentor-mentee relationship.
Great, thank you. Dr. Fisk.
Hello. I don't know if you can hear me. Weird headphones. My name is Ian Fisk. I manage an organization called the Mentor Capital Network, and I've been involved in this project in a variety of different ways. So I'm mostly here to listen today.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining. Aulia?
Okay, hi. My name is Aulia Rahman. I'm from Instellar. We are based in Indonesia. My expectation for this webinar or the thematic program on mentoring is I can make a mentor guideline at the end of the program, so we can put all the guideline for the mentors and also the mentee and also have a guideline to recruit more mentor and attract more mentor from our pool. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So did I miss anybody? Oh yeah, we've got Theo from KISS Startup. Oh, yep, the KISS Startup team is just joining us now.
Hi.
Hi, May.
Hey. Long time no see.
Yeah. So we're
Apologies for the confusion, Mai and Tao. There was a mix-up with the meeting ID, Pam and Jeff, so Tao and Mai are just joining us now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you didn't miss much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So we're just all going around the virtual room, and so if you can just say your name, just like it says on the screen, which you should be able to see, your organization name, country you're operating in, and then just one thing you'd like to get out of the webinar series. May? Mai? You're on mute, Mai.
Yeah, sorry. But
Are you able to speak with us?
hello. Sorry, but I think the connection here is not really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe should we continue on, and then maybe when the connection's better, you can introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
okay.
going. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks again for joining us. Okay, so then I met many of you in Singapore, but just to introduce myself, I'm Pamela Russos, and I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at Miller Center. I've been working at the center for about 5 years, but actually started mentoring with the program over 10 years ago. I started, my background is as a Silicon Valley software executive. I built and run many venture-backed software companies, and I kind of represent the kind of archetype, if you will, of our mentor program and mentor pool. So I continue to mentor to this day. Mentoring is one of my most favorite things to do. I love working with social entrepreneurs. And so it's fun to be working with all of you and helping you think through your plans and strategies and putting together a mentor pool.
Thanks, Pamela. I'm Jeff Pilasek. I'm a program manager for GSBI and the Miller Center. And the majority of my career actually, or I would say the first 2/3 of my career so far has been focused on working at startups and some large corporations around business development and sort of product innovation and product marketing. And for the last 8 years, I operated as primarily an independent consultant, but during that time I did a lot of mentoring myself, mostly for startups and small businesses. And more recently, in 2016 and 2017, I actually was running an accelerator program in Rwanda that was also helping to work and grow and get access to financing for small businesses there. And so I've been working with the Miller Center now for almost a year. One of my main projects here has been helping to open a new center for social entrepreneurship in the Philippines, in Cebu, with our partner there, the University of San Carlos. And so one of the things I'm doing with them is actually helping them to recruit and design and support a local mentor program there. So this work is actually right in my wheelhouse of things that I'm thinking about now. All right. So I'm just going to do a few quick slides, sort of what the goals are and the agenda for today. And really a lot of this is around hearing from you guys and having a little discussion about, your experience so far. If you are running and managing a mentor network, what's working and what's not working. And then I want to also go through and kind of give you an overview of the proposed program that we have and some of the topics that we're going to cover and some of the outputs that we're thinking about, but get your feedback on those because we can certainly adjust and customize this as we go based on what we learn from you. So, the goals of this program are really about understanding your needs related to developing and managing mentors and mentor network, gather your feedback about the webinar topics and the tools that we are thinking about, and then sort of confirm the schedule and the next steps with you. We're going to start off by having kind of leading a discussion, getting your thoughts around sort of what's been working, what are your successes, and what are some of the challenges you've experienced in managing your mentor network. Then I'm going to go through just what we have proposed, an outline of sort of the program, the topics that we plan to cover during the webinar series, and the schedule. And then real quick, we'll just sort of touch on what the next steps are. Okay. Pamela,
So,
you want to? Yeah.
Yeah. So as Jeff said, a big part of this today is just is getting feedback and understanding a bit about your programs. And so one question is, so what are you telling your mentors what their role is, or what do you see the role of your mentors in your program? I've also heard, and actually even, I can't remember who it was it Greg talked about coaches? And in the discussions in Singapore with you, I heard some of you also have coaches. And so I'd like to understand a bit more about, and in Singapore, when I was talking to you, some of you, that your definition of coaches and mentors were kind of different from each other from program to program, which is fine, but we'd love to understand how you think about the role of a mentor within your program, what they're doing, and then also think about coaches and maybe some other people that you have involved supporting your your entrepreneurs. So, I mean, I've heard some some of the discussions in Singapore. I heard some of you say that the mentors you brought in were very much like, oftentimes they were basically sector experts. So if you had entrepreneurs working in agriculture, you had mentors that were focused on agriculture, or whatever it is, water, whatever the sectors are with your that your entrepreneurs are working in. Is that the way that many of you think about your mentors, that they're like sector experts that you kind of bring in when an entrepreneur has that need?
Maybe I can share first. So for us, I would say we have different kind of mentors. We have our like expert mentors, which is really like sector focused, maybe on like water and sanitation, or on agriculture, or in gender equality. Maybe it's more like NGO people or research people, or like, yeah, this kind of expertise. And then we have more like business mentors, more general background. So more like business development mentors, you can really be the mentor for a long term or period of time. And then we have even like experts mentor in business, so more into like legal, into marketing, into PR. And so yeah, this is our kind of like a free way of dividing our mentor.
So just a quick question. I'm guessing you use these mentors in different ways for your program.
Yeah.
Can you sort of explain how they're used? Because I think one of the things we're trying to do is just build sort of a baseline understanding of what people are doing now and kind of how they are using the different roles of mentors in their organizations.
So different way. So I would say the more like expert mentors who are at the more experts and in an industry, we involve them like from the very beginning of the program, because we do a lot of like business model validation program, like just from an idea and understanding a problem. So we invite these mentors first, more like as expert of a problem, who can really give a lot of data and can also like direct the teams to work in a specific direction depending on the need of the industry. And also tell them like, okay, no, this will not work, or yeah, you should think about these people. So we really involve them very early on to also like make them want to help the teams to connect them with the right contacts. So it's more in the ideation phase. This kind of, I would say, industry experts. Like now I think about like we have a program with like regarding like disability access, like, and so we have like experts in disability ecosystem. And so this is a specific kind of mentor. Then I would say for more like business development mentors, it comes later on, once actually more like when we finish the program. And then the teams are really committed, want to make it happen for sure. Like they have to show us again, like, okay, this program really opened my mind. Now I'm sure I want to work on it. So we say, okay, now we have some mentors who are here for you to help you. And then we introduce them, and then like we continue to support them. This is more like the incubation part, like which is like 6 months or 9 months, or even like after the incubation part. Then like specific mentors, for example, in legal or in like PR, or like when it's really like more one-off session that is needed. So we invite them sometimes to give masterclasses to our entrepreneurs. So all our alumni. So it's like more sharing like basics, like knowledge, or like how to register a company, or how to run your tax, or something like this. And then They share with us some kind of PowerPoint, but we share with the whole network of our entrepreneurs if you miss it. And the other way is that if they missed it and they really want a very specific question, it's they reach out to me, and then I say, okay, I know someone, and I will match you with, and I arrange just a one-off meeting. So, but I would say I am still the one in the middle of all of this, and I'm still the one who identify all the needs and understand like what also personality fits and doing like this matches at the beginning. And also another thing that we started recently is kind of like mentor speed dating, you would say. When we do a boot camp of 2 days, we like one afternoon, the last afternoon is all about meeting like 4 mentors, 30 minutes each, and like just like getting each other, getting like very fast advice and feedback on their business idea. And it's more like to start building a relationship after. It's kind of a teaser of like the mentors available at Impacted, and if you want to continue to be in touch with them, or if you find that it was useful to meet with them, then we can match you. So this is
Got it. Good, thank you. So Greg, was it you that talked about coaches?
No, I don't recall. Although, since you mentioned, in our minds, in my mind at least, we see the need for coaches more in terms of the personal development and growth of the entrepreneur, which is more the role we take on for ourselves rather than connecting them with someone else. So, like Melanie, the mentors for us are really more the subject matter experts. So we did experiment with this one format with the ASEAN Impact Challenge, where they identified several enterprises in the Philippines, and they had laid out a program from design thinking and operations and stakeholder management. And then from there, we identified several mentors, and then we talked to the entrepreneurs and to do some kind of triage. And then that's when we connected them with the different mentors. So, well, I guess our challenge was you have to build both sides, right? Both the supply and the demand. And you have to start somewhere. So thankfully, we were able to engage all the mentors that we had approached, and we were able to find a match with all the startups that we had talked to. But again, that was kind of a one-off, and how our challenges in terms of, I guess, the timing for the mentors. Many of them are at the peak of their careers, and very busy. One thing that I loved, well, I attended the GSBI back in 2010, I think, and that was very valuable. One thing different, I think, here in the Philippines is that we don't have a lot of mentors who are at that stage in their careers where they can sit back and relax and kind of think about giving back in terms of mentorship.
Yeah, we're going to get into some of the challenges next, but yeah, understand about that. So who was it then? Who did someone who mentioned having coaches as well?
It was me. It was me from.
Sorry, Chief.
Yeah, we decided to have coach this year because it is also from the previous programs that we had. It was not just about impact. It was like startup incubation program that we used to work, and we found out that a lot of people who like some of you mentioned that they don't have a lot of time, and so for them to engage, it's hard. It hard to find like time commitment from them. They are good at specific issues, but for us it was hard to utilize their skills, their expertise. So we decided that maybe having coach who are maybe in the mid career, like for us, we decided to have coach who are from Rise Impact team ourselves, or our part-time staff that we usually work with a lot, and we have kind of the same or similar framework or milestones that each team will have to get through. And coach will be the one who work closely to the teams. And when coach found out that maybe they, maybe the team, if the team lacks of something or some knowledge, know-how, maybe we could like introduce them to the mentor network. But we planned to engage the mentors first in our kickoff day. So actually it's like in a part of the designing now how the process gonna go. Like, but so far we summarize that we want to have both coach and mentors, because if we just have mentors, it's hard to really, like, the mentors have to put a lot of energy into this and they don't have time. So yeah, we have coach to complement that.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Good. Other ways that you think about the role of a mentor? Anything else that hasn't been said?
Maybe just one thing from us at Second Muse is the notion that it's a way to build community, right? It's a way to plug people from past programs back into future programs, and through that to yeah, I guess cumulatively build this community and continue to engage alumni. We very much see that as part of the value of these sorts of programs. So maybe that's just a thing worth noting as well, is that there is that added benefit and opportunity.
So the mentors are continuing to work and support entrepreneurs past the end of a program. Is that right?
Sorry, no, I meant like engaging folks from your program. So entrepreneurs that had been through your program and plugging them back into future cohorts as mentors. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
I totally agree with this. Like, we just finished a program yesterday, and I was saying, like, okay, what's next for you? And we're gonna start the new cohort next year, and we're like, please select us as mentors. We really want to share our experience, and they was very excited actually to have the opportunity to pass on what they learned and with younger ones. So I think I totally agree with this point, and I think this is what we want to do. Like, it's like a community, and I think also maybe there's other question about the profile of the mentors, but we have it's very interesting the dynamics of like these mentors, also like getting to know each other, maybe doing things together. So it's not just between entrepreneurs, but it can be also between them. So.
Yep. Good. Okay, so if there's nothing else on this one, maybe Jeff, we can move on to the next slide, which we've already started to get into already. So there's the next is what seems to be working well. We've already started getting into some of the challenges, which will be the next slide. But what do you feel is working well for you? I've heard that, a number of you have some, mentor people that are saying, yes, sign me up. And then, I want to continue to mentor. So kind of that piece. What else is sourcing mentors working well, or is that more of a challenge?
For us, like, actually, we were very surprised to see, like, we thought it was hard to recruit mentors, but we just put an application and received like 50 applications in 1 week. And it was a lot of people we knew in our network that were kind of like, really like what we do, but didn't really have a role to play, just like fans of Impact Hub, but we didn't really know how to engage. So it was really good way of like bringing them in. And And also, so yeah, the sourcing was great. And then what we see right now, it's that we have a lot of recommendation from one to another one. So like some mentors had a very good experience, and then now all the new mentors I get is recommendation based. So it's really interesting, and I think this is like organic, and we didn't really expect it to have all of this recommendation of being a mentor. So this is good.
Great. Mushroom, you joined us late from Toru. Are you there? No. Okay. Ada, what would you say is working well for you?
Well, last year when we picked our pool of mentors, we chose a couple who were just big names that they were very popular here, that everyone in the city knows them. And then we had a few lesser known experts as mentors who were extremely helpful. So we found that some of our entrepreneurs were still going back to these mentors even after the program and maintain their relationship. And that these mentors were very willing to refer them to different services they needed or different people who could be helpful to them. So that worked well. So and those mentors are very supportive of the program, and they actively promote it in their networks. So that worked out really well for us. And it's also nice to have the big names because when we're looking for new mentors, when they see these, big names, they also want, I guess they're more impressed and they also want to be part of that network. So that's been working well for us. But the only thing is that sometimes it can be I guess one of the problems that sometimes we don't know how much time they actually have to commit. So it's nice when they show up to our big events, but we also need them to be giving the time they need to give to their mentees. Yeah. Yeah.
Mai, are you able to join us, or is the connection still really bad? Okay, Alia?
Yes, so I think for us here in Indonesia, we have a limited of not limited, but it's like for the expert, like the big names like Ede said, is they have to be like paid, but definitely we have mentors that pro bono. All of our mentor is pro bono, so it's I think can make our mentors mentorship is good because they can share with not have a material incentive from us. Yeah. Things from me.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else want to share some things that seem to be working well for them that hasn't been shared?
Yeah, I think for us, like what's working well for us at Rise Impact, I think when we introduce a new mentor that, hey, do you want to engage in this kind of program supporting impact ventures and social entrepreneurs? Mostly the answer is absolutely. I want to join. But then I think yeah, let's go to your next slide about the challenge to like how
I see it. That was a
Like
good
the
segue.
introduction is always nice. In the beginning, it's like always good relationship, but then how to really turn that good signs to actual behavior, like actual action, is a challenge for us.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to add another thing. Yeah, can have it. So, which is actually we didn't really expect this, so we engaged some mentors from different corporates, and they had such a nice experience with our the mentees that they decided to get some funds to fund our next programs. Like so, they were like, oh, actually. It's such a nice experience. You're really making an impact in this program. So they see like from inside what it looked like, and then it give them some idea of like, okay, we want to run a program with you, and we have some money for you. And it's a way to build trust with next partners, actually, to get them first as a mentor, and then see what's happening from inside and get some funding.
That's terrific. Great. Good job.
Yeah, well, I just want to reassure folks. I mean, I know, from working at Miller Center now, who has been running accelerator programs for what, Pamela, like 15 years. And, managing the network, the mentor network is still presents challenges. And I was looking at some numbers recently in terms of our recruitment and retention. And we still see a fairly large, we have a strong big pool of mentors, but the new mentors that come in, only about 50% of them return the following year. So there is, first of all, there's no magic formula that we've found for just, a psychological test or screening tool to get exactly the perfect mentors. And, secondly, there is some amount of self-selection that happens where mentors come in, they're interested, and then they go through a program, and then, afterwards, some of them decide, this really isn't for me after all. So just so you know, it's not unusual what you're seeing.
Yeah, so we've already been talking about your challenges and pain points, and I know trying to find mentors that have the time, time is a scarcity, being able to then, turn that initial, as Julie was saying, the initial interest into action and continuing to engage them and keep them kind of, as I say, close to you, so close in so that they'll continue to step up the next time you ask them to mentor. Those are all kind of challenges that I've been hearing. What else?
Hello, Pamela, can you hear me?
Yes.
Mashur from
Hi,
Zoru. Hi everyone. Yeah, one of the pain points that we face at Toru for our mentor network is that the mentors work with our mentees for a considerable amount of time. It is as Toru, sometimes it becomes difficult to get the progress report and what the activities and the work has been done, and how many sessions did the mentors take with the mentees, how many site visits and assessment sessions they have taken part in their office, because it's a relationship between the mentors and our mentees. So not all the time we have an understanding of the progress that both the parties are making. So that is sometimes it becomes difficult for us to get the progress report from them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And just out of curiosity, I mean, once you pair a mentor and a mentee, as your program staff, are you guys still kind of involved in the ongoing kind of relationship and checking in and such, say with the social entrepreneurs, or is it kind of between those?
Ab- Absolutely, we do get involved with them. We visit their offices and we try to we interview them and ask them whether everything is going smoothly with the mentors or not, whether the mentors are giving them adequate time or not, how many sessions they have taken. So we do the follow-up needed with the mentees to understand whether the working relationship between the two parties are going on in an effective manner or not. And that is where I was mentioning about the challenges that we face, because since the entrepreneurs and the mentors, they sort of have their own way of working, they seem to forget that the business accelerator is also involved in the process. So that's why it's difficult for us to generate and gather the data and the information about the status of their progress.
Yep, understand. Yeah, we've experienced that before too. Good. Okay. Any other pain points that haven't been brought up yet?
Hello. Hi. I'm Thao from Key Startup, and our pain point in the mentoring program is to recruit the mentors, because our mentoring program is franchised from the SME mentoring in Ho Chi Minh cities. In the south of Vietnam, mentorship is quite common, and people are open to share and giving the questions for the mentee. But in the north of Vietnam, it's, we find we found out that it's hard for the people to open to the other, to share the knowledge and give the questions. So sometimes it's hard for us to recruit the mentors. And secondly, our our pain point is to keep the both mentors and mentee engaged during the program. Yeah, because in our program we asked them to meet each other at least 1 hour per month, and only a few of them can meet each other more than 20 hours per year, because our program lasts for 1 year each batch, and at least each mentee need to meet their mentors 12 hours per month, per year, but only a few of them can achieve that. So sometimes it's hard to keep both mentors and mentee engaged and motivated to meet each other during the program. That is second pain point in our program.
Tao, I had a quick question, follow-up question for you.
Yeah.
Do you see that the engagement falls off over time? Like, are they very engaged at the beginning and then it sort of falls off later?
Yes, that is. At first, they quite engage with each other, but then time after time, they can lose their motivation to meet them. Sometimes some mentee, they set a target and they tell the mentor, like, I have plan A, B, C, and then they cannot to meet that, to gain that target, and then they quite feel like embarrassing to meet the mentor.
I see.
Like, yeah, and then after that they don't find the motivation to meet them anymore, and they leave our program.
I see. Yep.
If I could add on top of what Thao was saying, is that since in Toru we work with entrepreneurs at different stages of their entrepreneurial journey. So many of them have already have some kind of established business going for them. They're earning revenues. On the other hand, we have entrepreneurs who have just started their ventures. So for a mentor to work with different set of entrepreneurs and different level of entrepreneurial ventures is difficult. Let's say it is difficult for a mentor to work in a pro bono basis here, because everyone wants to be incentivized. So that also becomes a problem, because it has to either it has to be a mechanism where the business accelerator has to bring the mentor under their salary scheme, or it has to be a 50-50 split between the mentees and the business accelerator, which also becomes problem, because most of the ventures, or many of the ventures, those who are not yet established, find it difficult to pay the mentors. That is why in the longer run, it falls off. The relationship between the mentors and the mentees falls off.
I think we also had a bit of the same struggles last time. So like we were wondering, the mentors are here giving their time, and we were just asking them to do it on a voluntary pro bono basis. They were not getting anything. And we were thinking, what could we give them in return? And we, as much as we can, try to connect them to good business opportunities. And another thing we started doing more of is trying to get more of what we do in the media, and promoting their profiles through our Facebook page. So they get a bit of publicity. And one other thing that we've added this year is that we're talking to one of the biggest retailers here. And they do a lot of, different agri-food. They work with a bunch of agri-food companies. So, we said if we could accelerate some of the companies that are selling through them, if they could kind of sponsor us. And so we do these gift cards for all the mentors. So we aren't able to pay them a salary or anything, nothing near what they would charge other customers, but we are still able to give them something, like a token of appreciation, maybe like a $100 gift card to wherever, some other freebies. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I mean, that's a great idea. I know, probably for most of you, and I know it's certainly true at the Miller Center and the other accelerator programs I've worked with, is if you were to pay all the mentors really what they were worth, then you wouldn't be able to afford to run these programs. And so, I know that's an ongoing challenge, and especially it's different depending on location and your ability to sort of draw skilled mentors from your area that also have enough time to commit to doing this. So yeah, I hear that is a big challenge.
And Ada, in addition to the things that you just mentioned, I mean, you at the beginning, you also talked about having these big names, these celebrity names, and that people want to associate with them, which is a natural kind of thing to do. And so, and that's another way, another incentive for them, which is free. So, okay, great.
Can I mention one other pain point for us in terms of recruiting mentors? It's that it's often easy enough to just approach people, and the thing is that we don't make them apply. So we actually take a look at who's out there and we go to them. So there's this very strange thing that happens where we're talking to someone and suddenly we're not sure if they would be a good mentor, or we think that they would be a good mentor, but who knows how it's going to turn out to be. So we don't have a very clear criteria. We just need them to be, experts in their own area, whatever they're doing, whether it's HR or distribution or in the tech industry. So I was wondering if there's any way that, we can tell whether a specific set of questions we could use to see whether this person would be a good fit. I guess that's something we have to develop. And also here, with the way the culture works, you don't want anyone to lose face. So you can't ask someone to be a mentor, or yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ask them to be a mentor and then back out because you're not sure anymore. So yeah.
Yeah. So we'll definitely get into those kinds of things, criteria and such. I think we're running out of time on this.
Last point I wanted to share, it was like more we were thinking about how to measure our impact in terms of mentoring, how to measure our impact, and we wanted to track like the hours of mentorship, and so we set up like kind of a work process and then we play a big role on it. But at the end, like reality it was very hard to like the mentors feel the form and like we understand what has to what happened and to keep track of all of it. So yeah, now we're like, what's the best way actually? Because it's like a big part of what we do, or like mentoring. And we want to make sure we can like also share it in our impact report. So yeah, now we are open to hear also what the best way of like capturing this part. Maybe it's more qualitative and less quantitative. So yeah.
Yep. Yes. So we'll be exploring that as well. Certainly the storytelling, and you can even go onto our website and see some of the videos that we've created with some of our mentors, just talking about what it's like for them to mentor. But being able to get to some quantitative things is an important piece too. So yep. Okay. I just want to make sure that we should probably continue on, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, I think actually we're doing okay on time. Does anybody have a last thing they want to share, or something important that you feel like you need help with?
Just one thought from me, Will, here from Second Muse. It's just about structure. Like, to what extent to lean in and support a good mentoring relationship to be structured versus leaving it for the mentor and the mentee to work out themselves. I think there's a balance to be found between those, right? And it depends on the experience of the mentor and how close they are to the program and so on. But it's an interesting tension to hold and a balance to find. I think some thoughts on that as we move through would be, again, really helpful.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting one. I've seen actually from working as a mentor and then working with other mentors, there are very, very different ways of sort of managing this. And even within the work that we do at Miller Center, we know, we have quite a few really, really good mentors, and they don't all manage the relationship in the same way. And some of them tend to be very structured and kind of follow the program curriculum and the outputs from that, and work on that very carefully with the entrepreneurs that they're working with. And some of them operate in a very much more unstructured way, where they may touch on the curriculum, but mostly they're just digging into the entrepreneur's issues and problems and helping them solve that. And both ways can work. It has a lot to do with the entrepreneurs themselves, and then also the mentors that they're paired with.
And that just makes me think of one other thing, Jeff, and that is I guess advice fatigue as well, right? There's a number of mentors or coaches, people giving advice. This is a classic one for these sorts of programs, right? Like, whose advice do you follow? Because often people will get conflicting advice from different mentors and advisors and coaches. So,
well, that's a really good point. And actually, I don't know with the cohorts or the entrepreneurs that you work with, for some of them, this may be their first sort of mentoring relationship. So they also might not really understand what a mentor is supposed to do and really what their role is. So, part of the training and onboarding is really preparing the entrepreneurs as well for the mentoring relationship and sort of teaching them how to get the most out of it.
Yeah, I wrote that down on the top of it. One of my pages was, prepping the SEs for the many different mentor feedbacks that they're going to get, and that's a reality. And sometimes I'll see the entrepreneurs who are like, my head is spinning. I don't know what, and one of the things that we talk about to the entrepreneur is that you know your business best, and so you need to just take what mentors are telling you and synthesize, take in, take out, and but that is an art. So yeah, but let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Yeah.
And an experienced mentor would know this and know how to sort of coach an entrepreneur through this if they're really struggling and getting all sorts of different points of view. In the end, a good mentor should be explaining to the entrepreneur that you're in charge of your business. I'm not running your business, so you ultimately have to make the decision. You're going to get potentially a lot of differing viewpoints, and in the end, you have to do what feels right for you and your enterprise.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, we can dig into that too. Okay.
Great. So just a quick recap on some of the things I heard. So I heard some issues around sort of recruitment and also keeping mentors engaged. Engagement was a big issue, especially given the lack of compensation for them, but maybe some other creative ways to find some ways to give value back to the mentors who are participating. Screening and selection is an issue. Measuring the impact of mentorship, and then structured versus unstructured mentoring relationships, and then a little bit around, and it wasn't said exactly this way, but it's sort of what I would call mentor matching, which is how do you make sure you're sort of aligning the entrepreneur who is at the right stage, who's at a particular stage in their enterprise, with the mentor who is sort of appropriate for that entrepreneur. So that's all really good stuff. Okay, so I'm now just relatively quickly going to kind of go through what our plans are for this program. And like I said, we can kind of adjust on the fly a little bit as we get feedback from you. But here's how we're thinking about it now. The main learning objectives from the program are really to help sort of refine the roles or potentially multiple roles of a mentor. What are the most important characteristics and values to find mentors that can build effective mentoring relationships, and then help you articulate some of the best practices for sourcing and selecting mentors. Gain some knowledge about approaches for onboarding and training mentors, and sort of how to apply that and customize that for your organization. And then build an understanding of what type of ongoing support is really needed to keep mentors engaged. And then help you increase your understanding of how to monitor mentor activities and gather feedback from mentors. The webinar series is really divided into 4 main sessions. And I'll go through sort of the flow of the series in a moment. But the main webinar sessions are, first one is about the definition of mentors and the roles of mentors and the characteristics and values that are really present usually in good mentors. How to identify, source, and select mentors. Your onboarding and training of mentors. And then what we're calling mentor care and feeding, which is how to sort of build this ongoing engagement and measure activities and monitor what's going on in the mentor-mentee relationships. Each of these training modules will have a set of sort of templates for you to work through, and there'll be outputs from them. So once we do a webinar series, you'll have some outputs that you will sort of go back to work on. And these will typically be in the form of some kind of template for you to fill in. We'll give you, usually the way this works is we'll have a example filled in for you so you can kind of see what it is we're talking about, and then a blank version of it for you to kind of complete. The kinds of things we're looking at for the deliverables are, you know, helping you to create sort of a summary description of your mentor program, define the types and roles of mentors that you have in your programs, put together a mentor recruitment and selection plan, create an onboarding process for mentors. This is pretty important. And then develop sort of a mentor profile, and this is really just a tool or a way to capture a few key aspects or traits of the mentors that you have. So you're able to, you know, sort of, this helps with your mentor matching, essentially, as you have some of the skills and mentor traits defined that will allow you to look at those and match with the entrepreneurs that are coming in. And then develop a mentor engagement plan. And this is really the, you know, what kinds of things or programs should you put in place that will help keep mentors engaged. And there's some other tools and templates that we're thinking about that we probably will add in here as well. A lot of the content for the program that we're doing right now is not actually built. Like Miller Center has a lot of the parts and pieces to this, but we don't actually have a lot of the templates and tools already made. So there's an opportunity here for you to sort of jump in if there's certain things that you think are missing here or would like to see. You can certainly let us know. We can add those in and try to create something that would be helpful. Okay, so this is just an overview of sort of the program schedule. And there are, like I said, there are 4 main webinars, but the flow of the program is essentially going to be a webinar that we go into sort of the topic and present and share the templates with you. And then there will be roughly sort of I think it's about 6 weeks, a 6-week cycle between one webinar and the next. So we'll do a webinar. In about 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have a follow-up session, which is really a chance for you to share some of the work that you've done as outputs from the previous webinar and talk about any challenges or sticking points you're having in doing that particular piece. It's a chance for us to give you some feedback or help you work through any of the challenges that you're having on the issues related to that webinar. So, and then sorry.
I was just going to say, and it's also a chance for all of you to learn from each other. I mean, like Ada was just some learnings that they're and things that they're trying. So this is an opportunity to get feedback from each other as well.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And actually, I think, you know, you all definitely have a lot to learn from each other. And in some ways, the programs you're running are probably more similar to each other than to some of the programs that we're running at Miller Center. So I think there's quite a bit to be learned there. And then, so following each review seminar, then in another 2 to 3 weeks would be the next set of topics that would come. So like I said, generally it's a 6-week cycle. That's sort of what we were aiming for, but with some of our other scheduling and travel, doesn't always come out to 6 weeks between each webinar.
And I'll just share too that that it's not just going to be Jeff and me that are going to be on here. We'll actually get some of our mentors on here to share from their own experiences, and so that it's not just us telling you or talking with you about these things, but that you'll get kind of, if you will, real world, you know, experience voices in the virtual room sharing.
Yes. Thanks, Pamela. So I'm going to pause here just for a second and see, because part of my goal here was to just sort of share what we're thinking about, how we're thinking about running this program. But now that I've gone through sort of this high level overview, I'd just love to hear any feedback or thoughts that you have about it. Does this sound about right, or are there things that are maybe missing that you'd like to see?
I don't think, Jeff, that you described. Oop, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it looks good. Again, all very high level, and I guess we can provide more specific feedback as we go along. I was just wondering, someone had brought up earlier, and I think in terms of the programming for the mentors and how to kind of put that together. Do you leave them to their devices? Do you help them craft that? What's ideal? Is it, like a 6-week mentorship, a 6-month mentorship? Is that maybe in webinar 4, or is it somewhere here?
Greg, I'm not sure I'm quite understanding your question. Is the question about how long does a mentor mentor?
Yeah, so I'm guessing that might be, part of best practices, but also in terms of the templates. Well, okay, so one, the length in terms of best practice, also in terms of what's best. Is it to leave the mentor and the mentee, to leave the programming up to the mentor and the mentee, or to take a more engaged, a more active role in that? And then if that were the case, then is there kind of a template, to help the mentor and mentee put together the mentorship program? I guess, does that make sense? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty clear. Let's see. We would probably cover that. I'm just thinking about where this fits, because the way you use a mentor varies across your different programs, and so I think some of them may get mentoring while they're also while they also have some curriculum that they're working through, and some of them may get mentoring that is done when either before the curriculum or maybe when the curriculum is finished. So I don't know if there's a perfect answer for that, but we can certainly touch on that.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. I should also mention, I forgot to mention the last 2 sessions are what we're calling office hours, and these are going to come at the end. And right now they're just going to be sort of open sessions where you can come. We might end up making them kind of a theme in each session, and sort of depends on what we learn and what we hear back from you throughout the program. And if there's certain topics or issues that seem to be very common or we're talking about a lot, then we can have an office hour that focuses on a particular issue or theme there, and find the right expert to bring in for that.
That's a good feedback from me. I think the topics pretty much cover what I'm looking for, actually, but I would love to, if it's possible, or because my program is going to on in late April, which means from what we have to do, like from webinar 2 to 3, we have to onboard the mentors already before June. So yeah, maybe if there's any channel that we can bounce our ideas to you guys or the others, would be cool. Because like the timeline, we started the program already, and by August, I think we're gonna already finish the first cohort of the program.
Yeah, I hear you. You need us to do this faster for you.
Yeah.
Pamela, is the Slack channel, is that something that everybody has access to? to share on?
So I mean, we have the mentoring themed Slack channel, but I don't know, is everyone here meant to be on that Slack channel?
Yeah.
So all
Yeah,
participants?
They are. If you don't have access now, please nudge the lead in your team for this program, and we'll get you invited to the Slack as quickly as possible and get you in the mentoring channel. And I guess that's the place, I imagine, Pam and Jeff, where you'd want people sharing their questions and you know, reflecting on the content of the sessions as well, and supporting one another and sharing ideas. So yeah, definitely the Slack channel is the place for that.
Great. Yeah, and Jeff and I are on that, and so definitely, you know, if and truly in your case where you're kind of going to be kind of a bit ahead of us, if you're kind of struggling with things, just reach out to us on that, and we'll definitely support you.
Does that make sense? So yes, definitely get on the Slack channel. I think that's a good way for us to share things with each other. And if you have specific questions for Pamela or I as well, we'll be in there too.
Great.
Any other thoughts or feedback about what we have planned?
This content looks great, Jeff and Pam. Really excited for it.
Great.
I'm excited about this too. I feel like we've gotten a lot of we get a lot of inquiries about how we do this at Miller Center, and so I think Pamela can attest that we've been talking for a long time about developing these materials, and so this is finally a push to make that happen. So I think it's going to be really good.
Well timed and serendipitous.
Great. Okay. Well,
okay.
Let's see.
So this is it. This is my last slide. Basically, the next steps are for Pamela and I to sort of absorb everything you've told us, think about how to integrate that or make sure that it's integrated in some way into the curriculum and the materials that we're planning. And then the next step for you guys will be the webinar number 1, which will be on defining the mentor's roles and characteristics and values. So I look forward to that and hope to see you all back then.
Thank you all.
Great, thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thanks everyone for your input and your time and energy and passion.
Thank you so much, Pamela and Jeff.
Thank you.
See you then.
Thank you, Pamela and Jeff.
Yeah, thanks so
See
much.
you.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Take care, folks.